So the second part is what you should not depend on. And like I said while talking about the first section, these things that I'm talking about do not apply to everybody. There are some people who have everything and their parents are wealthy, their family members are wealthy, so everything is easy for them. They don't need to struggle, they don't need to stress before they get their house, they don't need to stress before they get a brand new car, they don't need to stress before they get a job. Everything is fine for them, everything is already well prepared for them. I am not talking about those ones, but I'm talking about people who are just coming into the US without anybody, no family friend, no money anywhere, nothing whatsoever. So these are likely some of the things that you might experience. And if you don't experience it, good for you. That means you're lucky and you're fine. But if you're not that lucky, you need to prepare yourself for these things. So what are the things you should not depend on if you fall into this category? 1, don't depend on your foreign experience. In the US, most employers want people who have local US experience. So say you want to get a job as a senior associate in a law firm, most law firms would expect that you already have some level of law firm experience here in the US. You understand what I'm trying to say? You need a local experience. So if you're coming in from Nigeria, say as a senior associate or a managing associate or even a partner, and then you want to come into the US and expect to retain that same position, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, it might not work out for you that way. So you need to find a way of getting that US experience, whether starting as an associate or starting as a senior associate, I don't know, but your foreign experience might not really work for you. While your qualifications might work to a certain degree, like okay, you already have a master's, you already have a PhD, those things can count to some extent, but when it comes to work experience, it might not really work for you. The work experience you have gathered from a foreign country might not really work. In some cases it might work, but in many cases it might not work for you. So you would need to have the local experience here in the US before you can actually attain that height you want to attain. So number 2, forget your local resume. You know, the resume you have, from Nigeria, that is not going to work here. Basically in the US, the resume style is just to have a 1-pager resume that details your academic background, your experience, and your key skills. That is what they need to see. So if you're coming to the US and your aim is to get a job right away, a good job, go online, look for US resume samples, and if you can't find any, quickly get someone who understands how US resumes are drafted to help you to draft one either from scratch or to review what you currently have. And this is where I come in. I have never spoken about my business on this platform, but I am the lead consultant at MBCL Consultancy. You can check us out on Instagram and you can send a mail, and you can also check us out on WhatsApp. So basically what we do is that we help want to come into the US for undergraduate or graduate admissions into any university in the US or Canada. So if you're struggling with the processing of your admission, we will help you. You don't know what the requirement is all about, you don't know how to prepare your application documents, just send a mail to mbclmf@gmail.com and we will be quick to respond to you. Secondly, if you have challenges drafting a resume, coming up with a resume, we will help you to create a resume from scratch. And if you already have a sample or a template, we would help you to review that to make sure it conforms to the US resume style. And also, if you have a project or a research work you want to do, you want to conduct qualitative research or quantitative research, or you want to write a project, or you have a research paper to work on but cannot do it, whether as an individual or as a group, MBCL Consultancy is here to help you. We do all of those things. And if you also need either one-on-one training or group training on career development or self-development, MBCL Consultancy is the one-stop firm to go to. We do a lot of stuff. So you can reach out to us on Facebook. You can reach out to us via email. You can also send a message to us via WhatsApp. I'm going to leave a description of what we do at MBCL Consultancy in the description section, and I'm also going to leave all our contact details in the description box below. So that's that. Then number 3, you should never depend on your connections, and I'm going to explain this. Back in Nigeria, where you can depend on your father's connections or your mother's connections, you can get a job in an oil company as an executive without the experience, even without the minimum qualifications. That is not going to work here in the US, although connections work because people matter a lot. If you're not the executive director of a bank, of an insurance company, of a law firm, it's easy for you. You can have a step through the door, but you still need to have the minimum experience and the minimum academic requirements. Without those things, you cannot get into the door. Your connections in the US can only take you somewhere if you do have the minimum requirements and also the level of experience that whatever job you are applying to requires. That is that. Next, Do not depend on your beauty or your physique or your phonetics. All those things work in Nigeria. If you can speak the Queen's English, if you can speak with different foreign accents, US accents, the Queen's accent, those things might get you somewhere in Nigeria. They can get you through the door. But here in the US, your beauty, your accent, your phonetics can only get you into someone's bedroom, but it can never get you into the boardroom. And like I earlier mentioned, you need to have the minimum level of experience to get that job or position you want. If you want to be a powerful woman or a powerful man in the boardroom, you need to have the experience that is required, and you need to have the minimum academic qualification that is required. In closing, don't depend on family and friends for long. They can only try, and it's nobody's fault. Everybody is trying to survive. Even for those who have been in the US for 10 years, 20 years, many people are still trying to survive. Many people are still trying to stabilize. So even if people take you in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, try as much as possible to begin to find your feet and make things work for you. So now I move to the next section, which is the final section. What you need to do.